Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our Summit podcast series. This is our current 5th podcast that we've created, and today we're talking all about experiences at Summit with Sarah Lyons. Sarah, welcome to our podcast. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on. It's really great to be here. And my name is Sarah Lyons. I'm the partner marketing manager at DynamicWeb.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're excited. I mean, I've been to a couple of summits in my lifetime. Savannah, this would be your second.
Yes.
So it'd be interesting to get your take on experiences, and maybe just in general too. But a lot of the fun, and somebody's done a great job with just some of the baked in experiences this year, for sure. But also it's the after parties and some of the other things. So we definitely want to go over all of what we know and talk a little bit about Sarah's party and maybe a little bit about how we go about building a party, because both Savannah and Sarah have done that for each of the companies. So it'd be interesting to hear how we go about that. So I'm just going to kick it off. One of the things that I think is kind of the coolest is the NASCAR experience. I haven't been. I was kind of a huge NASCAR fan growing up. I grew up in this, watching TV in the 70s when there was only one channel, and so you watch what was on. And it just happened to be like on Saturdays, they showed NASCAR and boxing and what other types of sports. So I kind of grew up knowing NASCAR, but, don't watch it much anymore. But I think it'll be a fun night. Have you looked into that at all?
You know what? It's really funny, is I've never actually seen a NASCAR race. So I'm pretty excited to have this experience. My only experience with NASCAR has been that recent thing where that car decided to drive on the wall to win. Do you guys remember that?
No, but I can picture that. I mean, that's crazy. These guys are so talented, and it just it's like, hey, if you've got an opportunity, take it.
Well, it's never happened in the history of NASCAR, and then right after he won, they banned the move. So I was like, NASCAR can seem like super cool sometimes, but right. I think there's a lot of history there. And I think that's actually, especially when it comes to events, you always want to make people, not only just feel like there's something to do, but there's something nostalgic there. And so I think it's a really great location for them to be doing it this year, honestly.
Yeah. And it's nice that they found an experience that's, like you said, that suits the area. So it's giving you some history of Charlotte, because they were big. We talked a little bit about this with Monica during our podcast on the city itself, and it's just it's nice that they were able to bring that part of the city in, and that part of the history in as well. So yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up, the driving on the sidewall. That's pretty crazy. That seems superhero like. I gotta figure out who did that.
Yeah, everyone watching or listening right now, definitely look it up. And when they were interviewing the guy, they were like, how did you know to do this? And he's like, from a video game, playing a video game.
From a video game. Yeah, man, the video games are changing the way we interact. That's wild. But it makes total sense. I mean, they're using video games to train athletes all the time now. Like you hear about football players who are, on the off season using video game simulations to, throw the ball better or learn situations, on how a play is going to develop. And so it totally makes sense. That seems a little dangerous to try though. Like the difference in throwing a football or swinging a bat, a different way or virtually, as opposed to actually trying to drive up on the side of a wall.
Yeah, seems a little dangerous.
Seems a little concerning. I'm a little worried about that one. What else is happening at Summit? We've got the Expo Hall reception, which is going to be a little better this year. I think last year it was a little funky, and they've kind of ironed that out. So it's in the Expo Hall. Last year it was outside of the Expo Hall. So for folks like us, we're both have booths or whatever, it's going to be a much nicer experience, and I think that this is what it typically was in years past. So that's happening on the Tuesday. So that's the first real night of Summit. And by the way, the NASCAR experience, if you're watching, listening, is happening on Wednesday night. So after all the education stuff's done, you've had time to have a little food and relax, you can head over to the NASCAR experience. I think it's within walking distance, right? I believe it's within walking distance of the convention center. So it's not even the need for transportation.
Yeah, on maps it looks like it's like around the block almost. So
Yeah.
yeah, that'll be good. I'm excited for that one too.
Yeah. And then there's other things too. These are not parties, but I definitely want to mention, again, it feels like Summit's done a good job at layering in a few extra experiences this year. So we've got an AI day completely, dedicated to art AI. I think that's Monday, or is that Sunday? I should have this stuff in front of me. We will confirm that. Yeah, but it's a full, 1 day package. It's a little bit extra, money, but it's a 1 day package all about AI. Any interest in that, Sarah? Have you looked at it, or anybody going to it?
Yes. So AI, and I've spent a lot of time researching that portion of tech, not only just for the scalability of a company, but rather like the real-time application we can do right now. And so when I saw that on the calendar for Summit, I really think that's going to be an extremely important portion moving forward with companies in certain different economic climates. Even just the other day, I was talking with an owner, and his company, he grew 40% last year, and he is looking to grow 45% this year, but he hasn't hired anyone new due to economic conditions. And so the idea in his position is to figure out how can he utilize AI to still improve that productivity growth without adding more heads to his team. And so I think when it comes to Microsoft, and I think the rollout of AI and Copilot with the community, I think it's been like a steady growth. But I think once people start, they've heard about it, they've seen it launch, I think it's actually going to be pretty big for them to actually showcase in person with panelists this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I did confirm, I looked it up. It's Monday, the 16th. If you're interested, it is an extra add-on, but I think it's going to be a good one. Like you said, there's a lot to learn there still. The way it came on, like you mentioned, it's been, Copilot's been teased for a while now. Now it's really starting to get out into public from the Microsoft side. ChatGPT came on like a flash with, kind of the cool side of it. Like, oh, I can write a song in the style of, I can, write a poem in the style of, and it was cute. And it turned from cute to real in just about a minute. It just like all of a sudden, wait a second, it can do some real stuff. And so it's really interesting. And people are, I think, just clamoring to learn how, like you mentioned, you can do it. So I think you got a lot of cool people talking at this event. It's a full day on Monday, so that's something to check out. There's also a day completely associated to public sector, which is interesting to me. I work in the public sector side for Ellipse, and so it's the entire day is going to be focused on pieces and portions of the technology that relate directly to folks in state and local governments. So we're pretty excited about that one. I'm more involved in that one from the planning side and execution. Yeah, so that's a lot of cool stuff just kind of baked into the event itself. But then there's the after party side, or the extra side of the whole deal. I think there's a golf tournament going on, which is not associated, but people are playing golf on Monday. So a lot of things pop up. People are trying to network as much as you can. So yeah, we've got parties. I got left and right. I feel like it's back to the old days again. Last year seemed a little off. We had our party, which was great. I think I loved your party. So let's talk a little bit about the actual parties. We can let you kick it off, Sarah, because I know you got a really interesting sounding, fun sounding party, and you and your team do a great job at putting these together. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your party so we can let people know that.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I think when I first was brought on to DynamicWeb, and it actually last summit was actually not only my first summit with DynamicWeb, but my first summit ever. And so preparing for that, I was like, Jorgen, our CEO, is like, can I just do a big party? I'm like curious if we can pull it off. And he's like, as long as you make it memorable. I was like, okay. So, when it comes to this year, we're doing something called an horse derby party. So the theme is horse derby. There's going to be a couple different types of contests and prizes with it, but there's also, we rented out the Revel room for it, which is a really nice private area in terms of networking. And, we're giving out tickets tickets because we are a little bit worried about overcapacity for it, but that's
Yeah.
never really a bad thing for those types of parties. But yeah, I have found through event marketing that adding a really good party to the conference, and working with your, in tangent with your partners, it's a really great way to almost solidify deals that you had been talking to earlier in the day. And I know that, the idea of, schmoozing customers, this or that, it works. It does. People want, especially customers, they want to know that you care about their company. They want you to showcase like, hey, we talked earlier. Let's continue that conversation. And it works out for both parties. And especially when it even comes to networking between partners, we have found that, just we're all human. We all just want to have a good time. And although it is based around business, at the end of the day, people do business with people they like. So I found,
You bet.
And if I personally just like seeing everyone having fun too. There's a lot of moving parts, Savannah, as you know, when it comes to event coordinating, and I run around with my head off like a chicken for like months prior. But it's so worth it when everything comes together. And so every year I just try and do something a little bit out of the ordinary, that might not be, I guess, normal for the party scene. But it keeps it interesting.
Normal's
I like
relative.
it is, normal is relative, but it's all about just, offering and giving a space where people are having fun. I think that was really just the main goal. And that's all my team's goal too, at the end of the day.
Savannah's as cool as a cucumber. If she's stressing out over, party planning, we never see it. She's always just, on time and buttoned up. So, no, you're right. Those after parties we call it the second shift here. Our sales team calls it. You got one guy who's kind of like, definitely an early riser, early to bed. And then we got the second shift that goes out, and those indelible moments, definitely make a difference. A couple years ago, I think people are still talking about they had ended up at a place where they were turtle racing last year. Turtle racing. Yeah. I don't know anything about it, but apparently it was the thing in Austin or in Texas somewhere where you are. I think it was I believe, might've been Houston. So I don't know. It could be close by where you are. Just a whole turtle racing facility.
Wow.
And like you said, you want to create a FOMO because, I had fear of missing out your party last year. I was disappointed we didn't join in with you on the boat. I was so excited about the big boat party at Summit. It looked so cool, the boat facade inside of the Gaylord. We ended up having a great party though, last year with the axe throwing and had a lot of fun. And we actually got into a FOMO this year. We actually were not going to have a party, but now we're at the last minute. So maybe Savannah is running around. She's not on camera.
You'll never know. But yeah, always FOMO.
I think that's kind of an joke in marketing, is like no one really like back scenes like doing. And like, you come to the
I'm sure she was saying something quite profound. I mean, she, like I said, she does this pretty well, and I think they, DynamicWeb gives her some different reign than we get. I mean, I love what we did last year, but they're pushing in a slightly different direction when it comes to the tenor of their parties.
Yes, very large scale, which is fun.
Which is fun. I mean, they had the big 3D camera last year, which was really cool. If you remember, our own Trevor Ruich was the one of the. I thought he might have been the winner of that.
I know, his looks so fun.
But that was a really fun add to the party too. Just some element that again creates a memory that people are going to go back and see over and over again. If it's not in their mind, this was right in their face.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And something everyone can post on social too to really get the word out there.
Right. Yeah. It just kind of keeps it rolling. Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Sarah, are you back with us?
Yeah, you bring up a good. Yeah, I was, turtle racing, and I just had to take a moment.
think she's having a little bit of. She
Yeah,
mentioned she was in the deep area of Texas doing good things, and on her phone, and we really appreciate having her here and making the effort, even though she, she's wherever she's staying, internet's down. I've been there for sure, where technology got you. We mentioned before we started this, I disappeared from a couple of podcasts ago because my laptop died, and definitely can be a thing. There are a few other parties out there too. There's not just DynamicWeb's party is, Sarah didn't get a chance to mention it, but it's Tuesday night, and it is by invite only. So you might reach out to Sarah through the social means if you're seeing this, and see if you can still get an invite to the horse derby. There's a couple other parties going on though. Just on Thursday, there's a big, kind of like what's been the big party for the last couple of years. Strangely enough, it's held by the GP group, which is a smaller portion of Microsoft, but still they put on a big party. Last year, as a matter of fact, this was the party that was going on in Disney. After the night it ended, we had, our team had been talking to a few folks at the Gaylord, and it got to be about 1 o'clock, and one of our team was like, I think there's a party still going on. It's the GP party. It's over at Disney. It's like, we need to go. And I was like, okay, second shift. I hadn't had anything to drink, so I jumped in the car and drove a couple of fellas around to this party that was held by GP over in Hard Rock Cafe, I believe. And unfortunately, you had to get there by 11 to get in, but it was going till like 2 a.m.
Yeah,
so we weren't able to get in. Yeah.
Shoot.
So yeah, so looking back, Savannah, this is your first summit, so you don't have a lot of experience. Any other conferences you've been to, or just say parties in general? Something that was coordinated, that was not just a high school or college rager.
Right.
But any thoughts on past party experiences that were memorable for you? And it could be ours. I mean, just wondering what resonated with you.
Yeah, not that comes top of mind really, that I've ever been to like a coordinated party like the ones that are thrown at Summit. So yeah, those are always so cool to see what people come up with and everything like that. And like Sarah was saying, she comes up with some really awesome ideas. I unfortunately wasn't able to make the party last year, but I had some FOMO not being able to go as well.
Yeah, once you saw those videos.
Yes, definitely. But yeah, nothing really. I'm really excited to go to the parties this year, though. I'm hoping that I can actually make a lot of them this year. So, especially since we're not having our own party either.
Not a big one. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking back. I mean, I'd never thrown axes before, so I actually appreciated our axe party last year. It was kind of fun to have something kind of low key. We had about 60 or 70 people by the end of it, but it was low key enough, and it was just kind of a chill event. But there was one year where this was in Reno, when Summit was in Reno. I think it was 2010, and it for some reason it was just every night there were like 3 parties, and I was an end user at the time, and just it was nice, maybe my second or third Summit, and I was party hopping all night long just from one, and they were all equally fun. It seemed like there was one at like an antique car museum, and then it was a faux casino, and then it was another casino. It was just one after the other that were just all kind of unique and fun. So it was definitely a memorable kind of whole event from a party standpoint. So I think it's kind of getting back there, where like Sarah mentioned, it's like this folks that are going, they're paying money, they're traveling, they want most people want a full on experience from start to finish, and those parties definitely kind of top it off.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And my biggest thing from, oh, sorry, I know I'm getting a little bit of lag on my end. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep, you're coming in good now. Yep.
Cool, great. With Summit, I found that the number of people that actually make it out was incredible. Like, especially when it comes to just like a Microsoft, related conference in general. Bobby, you bring up a really good point. These people, for business, yes, but at the end of the day, people are looking to network, to create relationships. And if you can create an environment that offers that, that's going to be really invaluable to you, not only to your customers, but to your partners in your network.
Yeah, totally agree. I'm gonna give my final words. I know we're getting ready to wrap it up, and we really appreciate Sarah joining us. Even it's kind of cool. It's October. It's kind of was ghostly Sarah. You know, we can't see her. We just hear her. We're talking. So it's kind of like an apparition. But we really appreciate you taking the time to be with us. If you're out there, you're going to Summit, and you've got all these parties, pace yourself for sure. You know, it's a long week. Don't blow it out on Monday night. You know, you want to make sure you're available every day for education, and that's important. You know, you want to learn that the hard way. So yeah, enjoy yourself. We will post out some of the parties that we know of. Like I mentioned before, if you are looking, sometimes they're going to be invite only. Keep your eye out at expo halls. I mean, there'll be things popping up. Lots of companies out there are doing this, and some of them are publicizing them, kind of out there, and others are going to be more private. But there are plenty of opportunities to network outside of the opportunities that are built into the experience or into the summit. Sarah, anything from you on the experiences as we wrap up?
I think, someone gave me this advice a while ago for these conferences. Like when I first started going to these, his only advice was don't stay in your room.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I've taken that, even if there's a party, you go for 10 minutes, like, you don't know the type of connection that you'll make, whether it's business or personal, even within a couple moments at these places. And so really just powering it through. Like you said, don't blow it all on Monday. It's a rally.
Yeah. Yep. And I used to go with a fella who was kind of an introvert, and this would be his big splurge, like for his extroverted activities. So he would stay out and do all the things, but then need like a few days after Summit to recharge and get his introverted batteries back up, because it was just a lot of effort. But if you don't, you're missing out on great opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go out for the week and then stay in for the month afterward.
That's right. Yeah. However long it takes, recharge.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Sarah, we really appreciate you taking your time from the depths of Texas to join us today and, share your insight. We're really excited to see you at Summit. And yeah, everyone make sure to visit her booth and the party that she's hosting at the Derby. Sarah, do you know what booth number you guys are at?
Oof, on the spot. And
Sorry.
That's so funny because I'm marketing.
No, it's
but I will be walking around doing a live version of Dynamic Leaders. So if you see me running around with a microphone, not only would I adore if you offered some time to talk and do recap video, but I will personally walk you over to our booth myself.
Nice. Savannah and I are also working on recap video ideas, and we could be running around like running past each other all day long at the expo hall, trying to build up recap. I was trying to find you on the map, and I don't see it right away. So we'll throw your booth number up into the social drop when we do this, so it'll be out there for folks.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. So everyone make sure to watch out for Sarah running around the expo hall. And yeah, thank you everyone for joining us today. If there are some last minute registrants out there, make sure to use our code Ellipse10 for 10% off. And yeah, thanks once again for joining us. Until next time.
Take care.
Thank you guys.